Wow, how nice it is to play wirelessly and not have cables dangling around. And I even just got up to hit record on my computer over there without having to worry about pulling out a cable. It's really nice. This is the Boss WL-50. Let me show it to you. This is the transmitter that goes into the guitar. Really cool thing, it has a small button here so you can plug and unplug and you don't get any pops or bangs from the sound system. That's really nice. Also a USB port here, so you can charge this directly if you want to, but you don't need to, because with this base station, which is also the receiver, when you dock it, it finds the best frequency available at the time, and it also charges it. And how smart is that? It's very light too. All right, other features on here, you have an output. Obviously you send this output jack to your mixer or your amp. It also has an input, so if you want to plug in directly, you can. Now you can't plug in and use this at the same time, but if you want to go in direct with a cable to record, then you can do that without having to unplug something else. That's really nice. Has LEDs for power and receive information. On the back is cable tone. Now what this does is it simulates the sound of a cable. So why do you want that? Well, when you run a long cable to, say, an electric guitar, it does cut off some of the highs, and because cable tone off would be full frequency, which you typically want for an acoustic guitar or a keyboard, it's really cool that you can enable short or long to simulate a long guitar cable. Now personally, playing an acoustic, I don't want that on because I want to hear the full range of my acoustic, so I leave that off. So it's great that they've given you the option for that. I'm very happy about that. There's a power in, of course, to power it from your pedal board, and there's a power out, so you can power another pedal from this pedal. They really have thought of everything. If you want to be completely wireless, because let's face it, that means you're not wireless, right? Well, you can be, because there's a battery compartment with 2 AA batteries. So once again, I really feel they've thought of everything with this system. If you want something more compact, then there is also available a system which is just 2 of these, transmitter and receiver. There's the WL-20 and the WL-20L. So the L version does not have the cable tone, and the non-L version does have cable tone. So one is really for electric, one's for acoustic, but it's best to try them. I like this one because it covers everything with the switches and controls it gives you. Some technical information about this unit and all of the 3 units. The latency is 2.76 milliseconds, which is the shortest I've seen in these sub 200 systems. You don't notice any latency with it. Battery life is rated at 8 hours, which again is, I think, is the longest I've seen. 8 hours is good, right? Because a gig is, say, 3 hours. This is easily at least 2 gigs. Of course, if you leave it plugged into your pedal board and have this transmitter plugged in, it's always charging anyway. One little tip is, if you're not using it for a few weeks, make sure you pull it out like this. Just leave it resting inside, just so it's not making the connection, because the battery will slowly run down when it's plugged in. I did get to a show and find that the battery had died because I left it plugged in. Just a small thing to remember. And how does it sound? Well, it sounds to me, I've listened very carefully with studio monitors, it sounds the same as a cable. I can't say that about all of the other systems, but there is one elephant in the room that I want to cover in this video, and I think people looking into wireless will find it very useful, even if you're not looking at this particular system. This guitar is an acoustic with a passive pickup, so there's no electronics, it's just a soundboard transducer into the end pin, it goes out. There's nothing there to cause any interference or any problem. A Fender Stratocaster, same thing, if it's not active, no problem. All these systems should work. The problem that people are getting is that they're trying to use active acoustic and electric guitars with these systems. And I've tried several of these systems and they do have a problem. The problem is usually a whine or interference, something like that, okay? Let me change guitars and I'll show you what I mean. So this is a PRS P22. It has an active pickup, there's a battery in here, and it has an undersaddle acoustic piezo kind of pickup and a magnetic pickup. Now this is what happens. When you plug in the wireless transmitter, sometimes it won't work at all. Sometimes you'll get interference like this. Can you hear that? There's a sometimes it's a whine, sometimes it's a click, but you can't play with that. The actually the other pickup inside here is fine, but you know, oh no, I can still hear it. It's still there, very faint. So that's no good, right? That's no good for a gig. And it's not just this system. Any system you get like this will have a problem. And I think the problem is that the electronics are situated right here. They're basically touching the transmitter. I think that that's causing interference. On some acoustic guitars, the electronics are situated up here on the upper bout, so they're far enough away often to not have a problem. Now what I found on this guitar though is I have found a workaround. This adapter is included with the Line 6 wireless system. It's just a mono TS to mono female TS adapter. If I put it on there, so now I've got a mono connection, not the stereo. So it hasn't really added much bulk. It will now pop when I plug it in. I've lost that functionality. But let me plug it in with the volume off and I'll show you what happens. See, it looks fine. It looks absolutely perfectly acceptable. Now the ticking is completely gone on both pickups. So there is a solution. I had a similar problem on an acoustic guitar, and it also fixed that. With the jack, it wouldn't detect it at all. That fixed that issue. Another guitar with a Fishman Matrix. I'm not going to show you these guitars because it's kind of boring, right, to show you technical issues, but you can take my word for it. The Matrix one, again, has a preamp right here. This adapter actually gave just enough distance by hanging down like this. It seemed to angle that transmitter in such a way that it got rid of interference. So I've tried this on around 7 guitars with all the different electronics, and with the combination of this adapter, which I'll link below in the description of the video so you can buy 1 or 2 of these for yourself. With this combination, I've had this working with every guitar. Now you might think, well, it sounds like a hassle. Yeah, but no other wireless system under $200 in this form factor that I've ever tried has worked with every single guitar I've tried it with. That's huge. So of course we hope that they'll update firmware in the future. Of course we hope one day we won't need this adapter. But if you're looking for a wireless system of this nature, then this one is one to seriously look at, because the others that I've tried, you have to test with your guitar. It may work, it may not work with your guitar. So there's a tip. If you're going to try this system, you have a problem, try it with this adapter before you return it or call boss, okay? That's a really cool trick that I've found. Now my acoustic guitar is passive, so I don't need that. This is great, and I'd love to get the other version with the 2 bugs, because you can leave that in your gig bag, get to the gig, plug in and go. I love the form factor, and you can just keep it in your bag all the time. Wireless is so useful to walk out the front and listen to your sound and do a sound check, to walk up to the audience and rock out and entertain, even just to avoid cables at your feet that you might trip over while you're playing a gig. It's a really nice convenience. And one more tip as well, certain passive pickups have a problem that they don't have electronics inside because they don't have the correct impedance. But using one of these systems actually fixes that issue. So if you own something like a K&K acoustic pickup, this can act as your preamp. Okay, of course, there's no tone controls, but this can fix the impedance issue that you sometimes get. So that's a really cool tip too. And this will work, of course, because there's no electronics in the guitar. So I definitely recommend that to acoustic players. So yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm going to keep trying it out, and hopefully you'll see it in my other videos as well. But that's the Boss WL-50. It retails right now at $199.99 from sweetwater.com, and the bug versions I mentioned are $179.99. So whether you want the pedal version, the bug version without cable tone, or the bug version with cable tone, then certainly check them out. All right, happy playing. See you next time. Bye-bye.